colours.
Yeah.
So here we are here with David Hawkins from Niche, who has designed this machine. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Can you want to tell us a little bit more about
Well,
that,
it starts
please?
a long time ago. I actually looked over a macadamia factory, and I was really surprised by the crack out that they were getting, because they were at that stage, this company that I looked at over their factory, they were getting 30% whole nuts. So I thought there must be a much better way to do it than
A more efficient
way to do it. So I said to them, if I can give you an 80% crack out, he said, we'll bite your arm off. Okay, well that is 4 years ago and my arms are still on. So hopefully now they're going to bite my arms off. But I mean, it's gone a lot further than that. So what happened is that this was originally designed as a cracking machine, and it still is a cracking machine. But the low-hanging fruit really we assessed was the dehusking, because everybody has to have a dehusker. There are some big processing companies like Mayomac, Golden, and so these farms belong to co-ops, and they send their dehusked nuts to the co-ops, and then they get paid out, and they process them and bag them. So we figured that the better thing to do would be just to go to the dehusking first, and then we do cracking afterwards. Okay. So that's just 4 years ago. But then COVID came, and you've got problems with seasons, for instance, like now, there are no more nuts till March. So you've got to stop doing it.
Yes.
And then you sit twiddling your thumbs and trying to make it right.
Yes.
And then you start again. And then you try it and it's not quite right. And then you've got to get more nuts. And so the whole process actually goes.
So if you were to put it in in a nutshell, this is a cracking good machine.
Yes, it is, yeah.
But what is it doing differently?
Okay. There's nothing like it. It's absolutely unique. It cracks out. It does no damage. If you take this machine, let's go on the dehusking first. If you go and look at the traditional dehusking machines that you see, they're hugely noisy. You have to wear masks. You can't hear a thing. There's no noise at all. So
dehusking, you're taking the green part out.
Have you got?
Yes, please do. So he wants to look at that.
Okay, so
the green part is the husk.
Yeah, this is a bit old because these are.
They've been traveling.
Okay, so that's when you take that out. That's the husk, and that's the nut.
Yes. Okay. So the first process is the dehusking, where you remove.
Yes, and every farmer needs to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what this is.
Okay, great.
But then on this particular machine, which is quite interesting, so we did dehusk it.
Yes.
And then you still got to separate those things. It all drops out onto a belt.
So you've got the husk and then the nut.
And the nut, and so what we did, we made the nut and it rolled down, and the husk was taken that way. But that wasn't even. I then said that was a bit messy, because sometimes you got lots of husks, and then the nuts come, and then you're getting some nuts and some husks and whatever. So we added a really interesting thing here, because it's taken out a whole load of other processes in just by chance. That's where these things develop. So this, when you drop up here, up this end here, you can see just husks. Okay. And it just goes to waste.
We'll film that in a moment.
And if you go to the other side, just nuts.
Okay. So it's one process.
It's one process. So now, if I showed you a picture of a traditional thing, what you would get is a very noisy chain dehusking machine, which also does damage to it because of the whole process. It doesn't mark it. This thing is perfect.
That looks quite pristine.
It's not damaged. The nut is. It's gentle, basically. And so what happens is you get the chain ones, and then they go onto a conveyor, and they have a big fan that blows. That goes up on a conveyor. And the fan blows the nuts out. I mean the husks out onto a tip.
Yes.
And then you often find.
And then you're left with a nut, and then that still has to be cracked.
And that has to go on to the next process. But the big fan also blows out 10% of the nuts. Okay, so they have another person sitting over there, going through the pile of husks, looking for nuts, and then.
So this machine does both those processes in
and
one.
not only that, it's got 2 more to go too. So there's after that, it goes into a trauma sizing thing, which loosens any stubborn stuff like that, and then it drops down onto a table with most probably 5 or 6 women, who then physically do it by hand and say that one's not nice, and
they do the sorting.
and they do the reruns. So this machine actually does away with all that downstream thing. Maybe we'll see whether we need any woman at all to go through it, if it's perfect. But I mean, John, I think it's fair to say we definitely, on this version of this machine now, I would say it's 99%.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no waste.
So
none.
you've done the till. Are you going to do the show? Are you going to show us?
Okay, sure.
Fantastic.
I'll do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know which way to.
Okay. So
What's
tell
going
us.
to happen here? Okay, so that's a hopper.
Yeah.
It runs at about a ton an hour, this
Yeah.
machine. And I'll go upstairs and then you'll have a look down there and you'll see what happens.
Okay. Do you need us up there?
Yeah, we do, but
Okay.
I'm just showing you these parts here.
Okay,
This here, all the nuts, clean nuts, are coming out here, okay? You'll only get clean nuts.
Okay.
You can see just nuts.
Okay.
No husks, just
Yeah.
nuts, okay? And then here,
Wait for the camera. Yeah. So
just
here
husks.
Here come the
okay?
husks.
So here come the husks. So that's all those processes are now just
And
not
it's
necessary.
It's quite quiet.
Well, I mean, you don't need anything.
no
And
noise.
I joke not. If you were in a normal
Yes,
processing
we have been
thing,
in those.
they're
Yeah.
hugely noisy. Yeah. So it's a really exciting machine. And now,
Yeah.
if you take this whole process, we can also crack nuts with this machine. Okay, we're launching it as a husker, but before March we will have another machine, which actually.
So that's
is
the next step.
Yeah, we've done it already.
Okay.
Okay, it's just that we backed off it and went for husking, and yeah. So I mean, these living thing takes twice as long and twice the amount of money, but we've got a machine here that is.
But it's very exciting
good.
to
It's
see
really
what you're
exciting.
doing with this and to
Yeah.
hear that you're busy with the next process and that will be rolled out soon as well.
Yes, it'll be. We literally after these two shows, because now we're going up to the IMS, which is the International Macadamia Symposium, and we're taking this with us on the trailer like this, and we're going to demonstrate it on a farm there.
And that is where?
In Zimbali, in
Okay,
Durban.
okay.
So I believe that Port Edward, down that area of KZN, is one of the best places to grow macadamia nuts in the world.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
So really, if you take any sugarcane area where they grow sugarcane,
Yes.
they can grow macadamia nuts
Okay.
too. We're much down here, so this is why we've managed to get some nuts here so late in the season, because it's cooler. Okay, the further you go north,
Yeah.
the seasons are way over by now.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. This is very interesting to see something new technology happening, and to hear that you're still developing further. And good luck with
Fantastically.
this cracking good idea.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Okay.
You can look at the small ones. You see this nut? It's dropping through here. Okay. So the small ones are here. This is just purely sorting. It's not dehusking at all. It's just grading the nuts. The process is underneath here, and there's no friction here. It's in the existing dehusking way that they use it. They push the nuts down onto a plate, on rollers that look like this. Okay, and it actually wears them out. They actually then put hard welding and everything else. This isn't like that at all. This is purely. This will go forever. There's no friction, hard wearing friction. So it's just a gentle machine, and it just does the job.
Can you use it in other nuts?
Yes, you can. Funny enough, you should say that. Yes, I tried some the other day, and that'll be after this. Anything? Yes, it is a possibility. But we'll wait and see.
Thank you. Thank you.